One of the biggest issues that parents face during the holiday seasons is balancing between having like a really good Christmas and doing gifts and all of the things and not breaking the bank. So, on this video, I'm going to be talking about how not to break the bank and still have a wonderful, great Christmas. All right, so the biggest tip I have, hierarchical tip I have for you all, big picture tip I have for you all is create a budget. Mind blown. Oh my goodness. Holy crap. No, really, seriously, like create a budget within your means. And maybe you've been saving up for Christmas and so you can have a little bit bigger of a budget. Or maybe it's a little bit tighter this year and that's okay. And maybe like you're like, okay, I can drive for Amazon for a few shifts so that I can make some extra cash. Or I'm going to DoorDash, or I'm going to Uber, I'm going to Lyft, whatever it is. Make sure that you're creating a budget, like an actual amount, like we are spending X amount of dollars on Christmas total this year or the holidays this year, and we are not going to go above and beyond that at no cost. And here's the reason why. I don't want you going into debt because so many people go into credit card debt to cover the expenses of the holidays. Don't do this. Or people go into like do layaway and then they're having to pay off Christmas for the next few months. And it's like, oh my goodness, just create a budget that you know that you're confident in, that you will have, that you can put aside for the holidays and stick to that budget. If you don't stick to that budget and you blow the bank, it creates so much stress. And one thing that I know is that your children would much rather have you unstressed and more fun than a Switch 2. I promise you. And what if at the end of the day they would much rather have you, the parent, be less stressed than that new Nintendo Switch 2? Okay, where they can do like all the Mario Karts and all of the things, blah. All right, so that's the big picture thing. Like, create a budget, stay in it. Don't go into debt, no layaway, all of the things. Okay. Now, the second tip under how to creating a budget and sticking to that budget is limiting the number of gifts that you decide to get your children. So, my husband, ever since our kids were first born, we have adopted the 4-gift rule. So, each Christmas, my husband and I, for our 3 children, we only buy them 4 gifts. They get something to read, they get something to wear, they get something that they want, and they get something that they need. Those are the 4 gifts we do for our kids. Now, before you're like, oh my God, you're terrible, you're awful, you could totally spend more money than that. Don't worry. They have 2 sets of grandparents. They have aunts and uncles galore who are spoiling them rotten. And so my husband and I are able to stay within budget because we only do 4 gifts. And we want our kids to realize that, and this gets to another point, the real reason for the season. It's not for gifts. It's for, if you're Catholic or Christian, it's, Jesus's birth and those kind of things. Those are the reasons we want to celebrate, like being together and family time and slowing down and enjoying each other's company and playing games and all of the things. That's what we want to be emphasizing. We don't want to be emphasizing gifts. And so that's one thing, and it kind of goes into the whole minimalist thing that we've been trying to do. Not really, but kind of sort of sporadically. You probably know what I mean. Where it's like, okay, we're just going to do 4 gifts: something to read, something to wear, something they want, and something that they need. And that works for them. And the kids know that they're not going to get all of these lavish gifts or all these gifts from us because we tell them, we get you guys 4 gifts, and they know that. And they've accepted it because it's the only way it's ever been. Now, if it hasn't been that way for you and you want to change it up and you want to adopt the 4-gift practice, well, then go ahead and sit down with your kids and explain to them, hey, we're going to try this new thing. Dr. Dre was talking about it. And we're going to do only 4 gifts. You're only getting 4 gifts this year. It's okay. You're going to get something to read. You're going to get something to wear. You're going to get something you want and something that you need. And obviously you can change it up if you don't want like read, wear, want, need. You could change it up to something that fits more along with your values. Um, so then going down to the next tip, we already started mentioning it, emphasizing the real reason for the season. Tell the kids they won't remember what their gifts were 5 months from now, let alone 5 years from now. And obviously within reason, you don't want to traumatize your kids, but they're not going to remember. Like if I had to think back, or if I asked my kids like what they got for Christmas last Christmas, like a year later, they don't remember, and your kids probably don't remember either. As long as it's not like this big trauma kind of thing, they're okay. The other thing that you can do is this goes down into our next point is you can focus on your family values. What are your family values? And if you don't have your family values figured out, this is a good time to kind of figure it out and then act in line with your family values, doing gifts that are aligned with your family values. So I mentioned earlier that we're trying kind of sporadically trying to do more minimalist things, like getting rid of stuff that we don't need, that we don't use, have less stuff, which is really challenging with 3 kids. But anyways, and so it's like, okay, we're going to get rid of stuff. And that's going to be another video probably next week, how to get rid of the stuff to make room for more stuff. And so you want to really focus in on your family values. Are your family values connection? Are your family values fun? So maybe like you do one gift, but it's like a fun experience kind of thing. And so figure out what are your family values and do gifts in accordance or in line with those values. And the other thing is you can kind of mention to your kids like how fortunate you all are as a family because you're able to have these things. And obviously fortunate, there's various levels of it, right? But like we are fortunate to have these kind of things, and maybe to kind of go along with your values and like emphasizing more of your values and the real reason for the season. Maybe you're volunteering as a family. Maybe you're working at a soup kitchen. Maybe you're wrapping gifts, or you're going and visiting, older people or something along those lines, so that you're showing your kids another side of the holidays. And the other thing is one of the things that we've done in the past, and unfortunately we're not able to do this year because weren't at church the day that they did it, was we will usually adopt 3 kids who don't have any kind of money and won't have that great of a Christmas. And so we will adopt 3 kids for the holidays, and we get a shopping list, and then us as a family, we will go out and we will buy gifts for these kids, and it warms our hearts, and we're able to, oh, what do you think, like this person, what do you think little Joey's gonna want, and all of those things. And we do it that way. And again, it's a way to emphasize different things other than giving. The last tip I have is there's a variety of ways to make the gifts less costly. So you can make gifts. Hey, this year, in line with our values, we are all making gifts, no store-bought gifts, and see what you get. I'm sure you're probably going to love those gifts, maybe more so than the gifts that they bought at the store. You could always buy secondhand. So eBay and thrifting, those are all possible options for making secondhand toy stores, like making things much more financially feasible. You could shop at Aldi, especially food around the holidays. And they have like that little aisle that has lots of, little sporadic, finds that you can go through, and you can see what you can find, and it makes everything amazing. And then you can have your kids shop at places like Five Below. So this is something that we started doing last year when we wanted our kids to kind of start buying gifts for their siblings. Well, I would take them, my husband and I, we went out, and there's a Petco right next to a Five Below, and my husband took the 2 kids and I took 1 kid, and that 1 kid bought their siblings a gift from Five Below, and then we snuck it into the Jeep, and then we went and I switched to another kid. I brought the other kid. They went shopping at Five Below. They loved it. And the gifts that they got each other, they really know each other, and they really love each other, and they all appreciated it. And more kids got more gifts other than the 4 gifts, and they were all excited, and it didn't break our bank. back. So I think those are the biggest things. I know we want to emphasize, we want to all have good holidays, and we have to find that balance between money and the experiences and the stuff, all of the materials. We need to find that balance. And obviously, I don't know what that balance is for you because I'm just talking to a phone right now. I don't even get to talk to any of you guys. So for you, what is that balance? What does that look like? But at the end of the day, my biggest tip is create a budget within your means and stick to it, because at the end of the day, it's all the stuff doesn't matter. It's the connection, it's the warm and fuzzies, it's the spending time together. That's what really matters. That's what I want us to be emphasizing. And obviously, yes, I want your kids to get what they want, but within reason, because I don't want you all being stressed. So with that, by teaching us to stick to a budget, live within our budget, within our means, it's a financial independence. It's huge life skill for our kids. By doing this and living, maybe adopting more of a minimalist lifestyle, we're going to be really teaching our kids how to be adaptable, how to, live within our means, be financially stable. And by doing this, we're going to have less stress and we're going to be throat punching the mental health crisis.